Hey guys, Sam from Manfa's Makes. How are you all? Welcome back to all my returners and hi to any newbies. It is so great to have you here. Please do stick around a while. And if you like what you see, give me a thumbie. They are free. So today you are back for another episode of Max's Gut Choice. Now, this is proving to be another very successful segment on the channel, so thank you all so much for your love and support for it, and I am having an awful lot of fun making it. So, if you are new here, hi and welcome. I do hope you stick around a while, like I said in my intro, but you may not know what Max's Gut Choice is. Now, I have a lot of podcaster friends here on YouTube, and some of them really do involve their family in their crafty makes. And I wanted to do the same thing. I did do a 2-year-long Thursday segment called Tile of the Week Thursday. That finished in July, and I thought, oh my crikeys, I have to fill it with something else. So I wrapped my little head in a spin of what to do, and I came up with Max's Gut Choice. Now, Max is my youngest son. He is 12. He won't be appearing on the videos, but he is the person that decides what it is that we are going to be doing. So to recap, Mike bought me this bag of tiny little bonbons that was on my Amazon wish list. The little bonbons look a little something like this. They are Mira handcrafts. They are 100% acrylic, a lightweight 3 or DK, 10 grams, 22 yards or 20 meters. They are made in China. You can wash up to 30 degrees Celsius. Do not tumble, do not iron, do not bleach. You can dry clean using pee. They recommend a 3.75 millimeter to a 4.5 millimeter needles and a 4.5 to a 5.5 millimeter hook. Now, this isn't the highest quality of yarn that you will ever have in your stash. It is quite feeling, and it is super stretchy and bouncy, and I didn't know what I was going to do when these bonbons came into my life. So I decided to have a little play around, and I came up with a square design. I did not originally know what I was going to use the squares for, apart from they are not nice enough to put into a blanket or a wearable, so I had to think outside the box. Now, I did strike inspiration from somebody else, and I will get into that in just a second. But the square design that I decided to use isn't a pattern as such. It was just me playing with my yarn. And I decided originally to do 4 rounds of traditional granny square. And I use US terminology, even though I'm here in the UK. It just makes more sense to me. So yeah, 4 rounds of the traditional granny square clusters. I do not put a chain space between my clusters, and in my corners I do a cluster chain 2 cluster. I also turn my work after every row. The 5th row was a half double crochet cluster traditional granny type row, and then I was putting on a final row or round of singles, and I was still doing a single chain 2 single in the corners. Now, as this segment progressed, every week I was having to battle yarn chicken because it soon became apparent that not all of the bonbons were the same length, and I was getting a little frustrated about the fact of playing yarn chicken all the time. Some people find it a thrill. For me, it's just irritating. So, partway through, after a few episodes, I decided to switch it up. I decided to stick with the 4 rounds of double crochet clusters and the 5th row of half double crochet clusters, but then I was leaving the squares there, and off camera I was bordering them with the single crochet row as originally planned, but I pulled another yarn from my stash. It is I Love This yarn print. I will show you a full skein because this is still the first skein. I still have a smidgy bit left, but you can see that it's getting less and less. This is what it looks like in a full skein. And I only had 2, And then the lovely Karen gifted me with 2 more so that I would have plenty. And even if I don't need the 2 for this project from Karen, they will be used in something else because I have completely fallen in love with this colourway. So like I said, this is I Love This Yarn print. You can get it at Hobby Lobby. Obviously in the UK we don't have a Hobby Lobby, so it's all Happy Mail for this yarn. It is made in Turkey. It is in the colourway Candy Stick Stash. Recommends a 5mm needle or a 5.5mm hook. They are 5 ounces or 142 grams, 252 yards or 230 meters. It is 100% acrylic. It is a medium 4 or Aran weight. You can wash this one up to 40 degrees Celsius. You can tumble. Do not iron, do not bleach, dry clean using A. So I border them off camera in this gorgeousness and I am absolutely loving it. I am using my 5.5mm dots to make the squares and put the border on. And just to prove that I did border last week's squares, oh, we're going to have an avalanche. Let's just move that there a second. We had the black, we had the teal, and we had the weird pinky salmony colour. They are all bordered. They are all ready to go. Now, excuse me, everything's falling away from me, guys. I do apologise. Let me just pop these squares away because I will get on to how Max comes into it in just a second, but one of my other yarny YouTubey friends here, Crafty Moo Sarah, if you are not familiar, go and check her out. I will leave her channel link down in my description box. Go tell her that Manfa told you to say hi. She joined along with these squares for a few weeks because she had some small Hessian or jute gift bags that she wanted to cover with the squares so that she could then use those bags as gift bags for others. And I absolutely fell in love with that idea. And for a fair few episodes now, I've told you that I did indeed buy the Hessian or jute bags. Mine are a lot bigger than Sarah's. And I have done something slightly different to Sarah because she actually took the time to sew her squares onto her bags. I cheated a little bit, guys. I used my best friend, the hot glue gun, but that's okay. It still got the job done, and I have actually done it this week. So I will show you the back of the bag to begin with. So mine are really quite large bags, and that is because I knew that we had at least 60 of the bonbons in the other bag. So I joined the squares together using the Hobby Lobby Candy Stick Stash. I glued the joined squares onto the bag, and then I did a little bit of an extra decoration as well. So would you like to see it? Would you? 3, 2, 1. Look at that. Isn't it gorgeous? So as you can see, I just plucked a few of the different colour squares. I joined them together with a single crochet join. I joined them in strips one way and then I joined them together the other way. But because it has left quite a deep ridge in between the squares, and it was making the edges look a little bit wibbly wobbly wonky, I took some more of the Candy Stick Stash. I made these simple little crochet flowers and I decided to decorate the middle of the bag with those flowers. I am still toying with the idea of maybe putting a button or something in the middle just to give it that last finishing touch, but how it turned out at the moment, I am so over the moon with. Now, these bags are box bottom. They are really heavy duty. They have some gorgeous handles. And it was only the front that I decided to cover because it was a lot of work just doing the front. This took a lot longer to put together than I anticipated. Now, I do have 9 more of these bags, but I have worked out that I will only only be able to cover 5 of the 10 that I originally bought. So half of them will get this treatment, and then I'll have 5 left over to maybe do another project in the future. But this is what our squares are going to turn into as time goes on. I've only got this one done, but this is progress, because for quite some time now I've been saying I'm going to do it and I haven't, but I took the time to do it because I will be starting my new job on the 4th of November. I have a start date, and I thought, while I have got the time to put it together, I need to take that opportunity. So I did. And I really loved the little extra flower decoration on the front as well. So let me know down in the comments, do you like how the finished item turned out? I'm super proud of it and super pleased with it. But you let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you have a slightly different suggestion on how I can do this, or a different join to use, or whatever you think. Just give me your thoughts and your opinions down below. I will be really interested in hearing what you think about this. So there we go. Now for this one, I did try and choose the brighter, deeper, intense colours. That is actually purple. It's looking blue on screen, but it's a Cadbury Royal Purple, and that one is blue. So I haven't used 2 dark blue. One is a purple and one is a dark blue. I might try and take a picture of it actually and pop it on my community tab so you can see it a bit clearer. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and find another set of squares that are of a similar kind of colour palette, maybe a pastel-y one if there's enough pastels. Maybe, I don't know, we'll just play around, but there will be 5 of them hopefully by the end. So yes, that is what my aim and my endeavour is. I have no plans on who is going to be gifted one of those bags or what I'm going to do with them, but it is a crafty project that I did enjoy, even if it did take me a lot longer than anticipated. Now, if you feel that I cheated by using the hot glue gun and that I should have sewn them on, I am sorry you feel that way, but sometimes us crafters have to do what we have to do to get the job done, especially in time constraints. So it's fine that you don't agree with it, but don't give me a hard time. It's what I did and I stand by it and I love it. So there we go. So how do we get to make the squares? We have already discovered where the squares are coming from in the bag of bonbons that Mike gave me. Now Max comes in because it is his responsibility to actually select the bonbons without me seeing, without me knowing, so that it's a surprise. And he can pick either 1, 2, or 3. And it's totally his choice whether it is 1, 2, or 3 and what colours he chooses at any given time. Sometimes there is a thought process behind his selection. Other times it's just grabbing bonbons and getting the decision made so that he can get on to other things that he's more interested in doing. But the fact that he does this for his mum is awesome. And the way that it's his gut choice is, I have this bin here, who I call Gutt. Now, as a child, we did have a bin in my home growing up. The one from home was silver, and it is where my parents would keep all of our winter wear, such as hat, gloves, and scarves. And we would say, "Mum, where's my scarf?" And she'd say, "Go and check Gutt," because just like you stuff your gut when you're having an awesome meal, we stuffed Gutt the bin to the gills with all of our winter wear. So my mum bought me my very own Gutt one Christmas, and I knew I wanted to incorporate him on the channel. And so after designing the squares, I thought, I want to incorporate my family like some of my friends do, and Max agreed. And then we could put it in Gutt because this has a lid, and Max will put the bonbons in here without me looking, without me knowing. All I do is I say, "Max, can you fill Gutt for me?" He waits until I'm out of the way, and then he quickly grabs the bonbons out of that bag and pops them into Gutt. And the only time I see them is when I open the lid and show you at the same time as you guys. I love the mystery and the surprise element. And then once I've shown you how many and what colours we have, I sit on camera and chat with you as I make the squares. So let's stop the rabbiting on and let's see what Max has put in Gutt this week. Are we ready? Ooh, only 2 this week. He's given me a little bit of a reprieve. We have had many weeks now where it's been 3 for the week. Now, I was silly and put my hook away. Let me just grab my hook. So this week, guys, we have a navy blue. Oh, that has a little bit of a fuzzy on it. Do apologise. We have a navy blue and we have a baby pink. So let's get to it, shall we? I will just grab the bonbon closest to me and we will get on with making the squares and chatting away. So I haven't said anything to Max about him keep giving me 3. I do not influence him in any way. I totally want it to be his choice. It is totally up to him. He has free reign, other than it's a minimum of 1, maximum of 3, and any colours that his heart desires. So it is Max's choice what I am making with you each and every time. And like I said, it is a complete mystery to me every time I open the bin. So he obviously felt like he wanted to give me a little bit of an easier week this week. Only a little bit, only 1 less, but I'll take it. So I am just cracking on with the pink square. Let me just move the camera down slightly. And yeah, let's do this. So how have all of you been? I hope you've been really well. We have, as always, let me know what you are working on with me while I'm working on this. It's always lovely to hear what you guys are up to. I am filming this on Monday, the 28th of October, so just a few days before you're seeing it. The children are currently on their week's break from school, which we call the half term. I am going to be able to spend the half term at home with them, but after this week and this coming weekend, I will be starting the new job. I've just been emailed my contract, so I need to look that over, sign that off, and send that off. And then my new chapter in a new job can begin, guys. Yes, it can. I am looking forward to it. I am nervous, but then that's to be expected because starting any new job is always a little nerve-wracking because you don't know your colleagues yet, you don't know your routine or your system of doing things yet. There will be a lot to learn, a lot to figure out, a lot to be taught. I just hope that I continue to impress them as much as I did on the day of interview. And I hope that it's going to be a real success, and I end up loving it and staying there for a good long while, because I just need a little bit of stability and routine for a while, not gonna lie. It's been really wonderful having this extra time at home. It was made easier knowing that I was still going to be getting paid for the time off that I've had. If I had had this long wait to start without a wage coming in, it would have been a lot more tricky. So it worked out just right in the end. See, everything happens for a reason. I really need to start learning to trust the process and to start truly believing that these things genuinely happen for a reason, that things will work out okay, that everything will be all right. It's just when you are dealt these crushing blows sometimes, and a lot of work and effort has to be put into fixing something that's gone wrong. It can be very overwhelming, very devastating, and very hard to deal with. But we are at the end of that process now, and I am about to open the door onto a new chapter of my life. So daunting, overwhelming, exciting, terrifying, all of the feels about it. But I just have to believe in myself and trust myself that I can make it work and that I can make good of it. So that's what I'm trying to keep telling myself. So yes, I finally have a start date. Ooh. But I am looking forward to getting stuck in. I need to, like I said, I need to get into a daily routine again. I need to feel like I've got control back, and I know expectations moving forward, because the unknown is terrifying for most people, but definitely for me. So yes, that's what will be happening next week. So that is awesome. I told you I would update you as and when it happens. So yes, 4th of November is my start date. It's also my auntie's birthday, so that's quite sweet. So yes, I will hopefully be able to give you updates on how it's all going from here on out. So yeah, I will keep you posted. So that is the good news there. Also, I don't know if many of you saw my little short I did about the little crocheted bow ties that I had made. I made 3, and I made one for Mike, one for my eldest son Connor, and one for Rolo the dog, because we were going to a dinner party at my parents' house. Now, some of you may be thinking, oh my goodness, Sam's parents, very posh and well-to-do if they're hosting a dinner party. No, there is a bit of a backstory to that. Basically, my mum turned 60 back in May, and I had bought her a little present, which was a box of cards. And on these cards were either challenges or events or experiences to try for her 60th year. So she has been working her way through this box of cards, and she has done a fair few of them. And one of the challenges / experiences was to host a dinner party. So she invited myself and Mike. She asked my eldest son Connor to be the waiter for the evening. And she also invited my auntie and uncle to come, and they live about 3 hours drive away from us. But they came down for the weekend. And after the dinner, we stayed the night, which meant that we could have, a couple glasses of wine and some adult time, which was lovely. It was an absolutely gorgeous evening, way out of my comfort zone. But I had told you guys that I had crocheted Connor, Mike, and Rolo bow ties to go with their smart and dapper outfits. We don't go anywhere high class or posh ever, really. So they obviously didn't have bow ties or smart wear to go. So Mike and Connor bought themselves a new shirt each. Mike also bought himself some new black smart trousers for the occasion, and I finished off their outfit with the crocheted bow tie. So if you haven't seen the bow ties, check it out. It's in my shorts videos here on the channel. And I also took photos of us all suited and booted and looking dapper and dressed up. They're on my community tab. So if you haven't seen us all dolled up, then please go and have a look on the community tab. You will find pictures of us all there looking smart and fancy. When we arrived, my parents made us wait on the street. Connor went in, and then Connor was told to answer the doorbell when we rang it and escort us into the house to then be, handed a drink, etc., etc. My mum really tried to do the whole experience as authentic as she could, but still with it being very, very like my mum. It was just wonderful. So we were escorted in, we were handed a drink, we all just kind of conversed for a little minute. We were then asked to go and sit at the table, which was beautifully decorated. Now, my mum is not really a crafty person at all. When I was small, she did dabble in a little bit of knitting and a little bit of crochet, but it was never really the obsession that it became for me. Um, she didn't have time to really do any other crafts or anything like that, because she was a very hard working, both my parents were very hard working when we were small. But since she is now semi-retired, she has found a lot of spare time on her hands, and she is getting into more paper crafts. She makes flowers out of tissue paper, for example. She has made some like wall decor and wall hangings out of all sorts of crafty items. Um, she's really enjoying exploring that. So everything that was on the dinner table, my mum had actually made. So we obviously had centerpieces, and it was really cool because she had got um, two small silver round discs which you could put a small cake on, and in between those two discs she put an upside down glass engraved champagne flute in between, and then she had wrapped beads around those, and the beads were coming down in swaths as well. She put a candle on the top with ribbon tied round it. We had our own little homemade place names where she had made mini artist easels out of lollipop sticks or popsicle sticks that she had again decorated with the beads, and they had our names written on them. They were so super cute. Again, there is a photo of the table and how it was decorated on the community tab post where we're all dressed up. I didn't want to be rude and have my phone out taking lots of pictures while we were at the table eating and stuff. So I don't have a lot of photos, but you may be able to get the general idea of her handmade decorations for the table in that photo. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh no, I'm doing doubles and I'm meant to be doing half doubles. Come on, Manfa, pay attention. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it should be half doubles. Oopsies. It's because I'm talking. I do this quite a lot. I had got round 2 sides as well. Oops. So yes, so for starters, we had a choice between garlic mushrooms on ciabatta toast, or pate with ciabatta toast and some butter and things. So Mike and I both went for pate, and I can't remember all what everyone had, but there was a mixture of pate and mushrooms between the guests. And then for main, we had it was mashed potato, but it had crushed garden peas in it to give it an extra flavour and an extra texture. That was gorgeous. We had carrots and green beans, and then on top of the mash we had beef, and it was so slow cooked that the piece of beef you could just shred as if it was like pulled pork or something. It was melt in your mouth delicious. And then she had topped it with a peppercorn sauce, and I don't normally like peppercorn sauce, but I wasn't going to be ungrateful. I ploughed my way through it. It's not a dislike where it's making me urge or gag or anything. I can eat it, so I ate it. And it was absolutely delicious. Cleaned my plate, apart from a little bit of mash. Um, Mike was in heaven because he loves beef, he loves steak, he loves peppercorn sauce. It was right up Mike's street. And then for dessert, or pudding as we call it, my mum had done a homemade key lime pie, and she had done a homemade raspberry pavlova. So that was delicious. And then after that, you had the option of coffees and a cheese board with cheese and crackers and grapes and things. And after 8 mints. And then when the eating was done, we decided to just have a few drinks and chat and catch up. Um, enjoy our visit all together. And then we decided to play quite a few rounds of the game Buzz. I don't know if any of you know how to play it, but depending on how many of you are around the table will depend on how you play the game. So, my Uncle Rob, he had decided that he wanted an early night. So after he had eaten, he made his way up to bed, which left 7 of us because my eldest had finished with his waitering duties. He did a fabulous job. Um, so sweet. And also we ended up having my youngest Max with us as well. I won't go into details. He was supposed to be his dad's, but he wasn't. And while we were eating, he occupied himself upstairs with snacks and drinks and a movie. But then when the eating and the actual dinner was done, he came down to join us. So that made 7 of us. And what you have to do is you have to go around the table with play going to the right, and you start counting. Now, because there was 7, um, any number that contained the number 7 or was a multiple of 7, you had to remember not to say the number, you had to say Buzz. And if you said Buzz, then the play would go back the other way. So it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, Buzz, but then it would go back the other way. Got to 14, Buzz. Got to 17, Buzz. Got to 21, Buzz. 27 Buzz, 28 Buzz, that sort of thing. And the higher up in the numbers you get, guys, the more tricksy it became, because if you said the wrong number, or because you didn't buzz, or you buzzed in the wrong place, etc., etc., you basically said something wrong, you had to take a sip of your drink. So after a few rounds of that, everyone was a little bit tipsy, but in a good way, in a fun way. So, and obviously there were soft drinks for the ones that were too young to drink. So 1, 2, 3, 4, there's the pink. I will snip off, weave in my ends and border it off camera. Let's get the blue started. So yes, that's how we finished off the evening. Several rounds of bars. And then, of course, we stayed the night. We got up the next morning. My parents did a really lovely full English cooked breakfast for us, which was a treat because we don't do that ever. Connor went to work. And then my auntie and uncle said their goodbyes and left to go home because they had a 3-hour drive in front of them and it was Sunday. Obviously had to get back in time for work and things on Monday. But it was really lovely, grown-up quality family time. So, yeah, it was really, really nice. I've just pulled that out that I started because I started with half doubles, not doubles. I'm not doing very well. Manfa trying to crochet and talk at the same time doesn't work very well sometimes, guys. I must admit. Right, here we go. We're in business. So yes, the dinner party was a huge success. It was another challenge that my mum could tick off as done because I also gave her it was a notebook, a lined notebook, but it was also a bucket list book as well. So all the challenges, all the events that she goes to relating to the box of those cards that I gave her, she is actually listing in that book as things that she's ticked off her bucket list. So she was able to add the dinner party to that book as well, which is awesome. And I just love the fact that my mum is actually doing them, because a lot of people get gifts like that and they just kind of get forgotten about, or life gets busy and they don't happen. But my mum is really trying to get through as many of those cards as possible, which is just fantastic. Even better when we're included and we get fed delicious meals and things, right? So, I mean, other things that they've done is go to a concert of some description, watch the sunrise, watch the sunset, go for a picnic, go for a hike, all sorts of bits and pieces, catch a movie, all the things that sometimes we all get too busy in life to actually stop and appreciate or make the time to do. So some of them are a lot easier than others, but she is definitely doing a mixture of them, and as many as she can get through as well. So that's awesome. You give my mum a challenge like that, she sees it through to the bitter end. She's quite goal focused and orientated in that way, which is great. So yeah, so it was a roaring success. The crochet bow ties held up well. They looked really lovely. From a distance, you couldn't even tell that they were crocheted. It was only when you kind of came up close that you noticed. My mum thought they were brilliant. Well, all my family thought they were brilliant. Not brilliant enough to order any and want any, but brilliant for the occasion that we had. And it was just a real lot of fun. But most importantly, like I said, quality family time. So yeah, that's how the dinner party went. It was lovely. What else can I chat to you about? The weather is turning more and more rainy as the days go by, because we're obviously heading into winter. It's really drizzly and yucky out there today, actually. But like I said, the kiddos are off school for the week. Now, most of the week, I'm not really going to see them because they're all of that age where they want to be independent and disappear off out with their friends, which is fine. But it does mean that I'm able to facilitate dropping them to friends and, letting them do a lot more than they can in a normal school week. So they'll have lots of fun. I am planning a day with me and the three boys on Wednesday. I want to take them into the city and I want us to go window shopping, basically, so that they can start thinking about and giving me ideas of what they may like for Christmas. Because again, with them getting older and having pretty much a lot of what they want, it's really hard to know what to get them. Plus, as children get older, their interests and their wants change. I do think that they would mostly like cash so that they could go shopping and get what they want on their own. And of course, we will give them some cash, but Mom wants to give them stuff to unwrap. It is Christmas after all. So they kind of need to give me a few ideas of little token bits that they can unwrap if their main one is cash. But I get it, they want to meet up with their mates. They want to shop for themselves. They want to potentially buy things that Mum would never ever pay that price tag for. So, I do understand. So we are going to do that on Wednesday. I will, of course, treat them to some lunch out as well to make it more of a treat day, more of an outing rather than we need to go and look for ideas for Christmas and it seem a bit more of a chore or something they have to do. So hopefully I'll have a lovely day with them on Wednesday. Obviously, by the time you're seeing this, it will have happened, but it hasn't happened for me yet. So while I'm filming this, so that's what we would have done yesterday in your world. And then just enjoying the last of the downtime before they're back at school and I start the new job. So yes, I I don't know. It's been a lot the last couple of months. It really, really has. It's a lot to process. It's a lot to wrap my mind around, but hopefully things will start slotting into place and getting into a rhythm, and I'll feel a lot more settled and less chaotic as time goes on, which would be lovely. I mean, having all of this downtime, like I said, has been lovely because it hasn't affected money or bills or anything, which has been fabulous. And it's also enabled me to get a lot more crafting done, but I have done other stuff as well as crafting. I have taken the opportunity to give my kitchen a really good deep clean, which I'm sure I've discussed on the channel already. But I mean, even pull out the big appliances like the cooker, the fridge freezer, the washing machine, to clean in and under and around them because they're in situ and you don't tend to pull those out every time you clean the kitchen. So that was well needed. I've gone through all the cupboards and drawers and I have gotten rid of a lot of clutter, and the kitchen is much more manageable, usable and clutter free and clean. It was clean anyway, but I mean really thoroughly deep cleaned. So that was awesome that I managed to get that done. Last week I also managed to pull out the bookcase at the top of my stairs, which is where I keep all my amigurumi and crochet pattern books and pattern folders and like my yarn ball winder and my Swift, my other books that I have in my collection and lots of other odds and sods. I pulled that out because again it hadn't been pulled away from the wall for a little while. Cleaned all in and behind that. I cleaned all of the shelves, the windowsill that it was next to, got some cobwebs off the ceiling, that sort of thing. I mean, although I should have kept them for Halloween. But yes, so I kind of deep cleaned the top landing area, like all the door frames and the ceilings and the skirtings and the radiators and the bookshelf and the window and windowsill. So I did the top landing. That had a really good spring clean and once over. So I managed to get that area all spick and span and lovely. And as time progresses, I'll just keep picking, a little corner or a room and deep clean those as I go as well. But trying to keep on top of everything as a family of 6, 4 of which are kiddos, a cat and a dog. We don't live in filth, but our house is definitely lived in, definitely cluttered, definitely chaotic. And it isn't an immaculate show home, and neither should it be. We are a family home, but just every now and then I need to go a bit deeper and a bit more thorough with a clean from time to time. So I have been doing bits and bobbles of that. Just to let you know as well that the washing machine has been fixed. I don't know if I've mentioned that in a video yet or not, but yeah, that was fixed last week. He basically had to replace the whole drum and the seal on the door, which to me, why didn't you just replace the whole machine? Because that's basically what you did. Apart from the outer casing and the motor inside and the pump, you basically replaced the whole machine, but with new parts. But I'm not complaining. Didn't cost me a penny because I pay for the insurance on that every month. I also have insurance on my fridge freezer if that ever breaks down. I also have it on my cooker if that ever breaks down. So it didn't cost me a penny. He was here for a good couple of hours, but he replaced all the broken parts. He did a little test drive of it, and it's all in perfect working order. It doesn't sound like a jumbo jet is trying to land in my kitchen or take off from my kitchen anymore, which is lovely. Yeah, so that was a relief, because you know, if it did have to be replaced, they would have to give me a voucher. I would then have to go online and pick and order which one I wanted. Then I would have to wait X amount of time for delivery and installation, which would have meant I would have been even longer without a working machine. My poor mum and dad would have had even more laundry of ours to do. And it's just so stressful and hectic when something like that goes down. So I was pleased that he walked away after fixing my machine, and it was back up and running. It made a huge difference. So yeah, that is all sorted as well. So just quickly, because I don't have much of this square left to do, again, thank you to all of you who have emailed me requesting to be a part of the Christmas card exchange. Hopefully I have gotten back to you all, or I will have by the time this video is released. I have put your name on a list. I've made sure that I have got your address. Yeah, so that is in full force. If you still haven't emailed me, guys, you need to email me so that I know you definitely want to receive a card, because there are more of you than there are of me. And if I don't get an email, I'm just going to assume that you don't want to be part of it, which is fine. No pressure either way. And of course, there'll be people that I send cards to, even though they didn't put their selves on the list. But that's because, you know, we're friends outside of YouTube already. But yeah, if you want to be a part of it, give me an email giving me your postal mail address, and I will make sure that a card gets sent to you as well. The list is growing, which is awesome. Very exciting. I love Christmas. It's my favourite time of the year. Yeah, so you will have seen, I think, my Temu haul by now. There is an Amazon haul coming up next week, which is craft related. In fact, that's the video I've got to film after this one. Oh, blimey, I completely forgot. The day you're going to be seeing this is going to be Halloween. So happy Halloween. And actually, I did buy a Halloween t-shirt to wear, and it's completely slipped my mind. Oh, well, it will save for next year. But yeah, happy Halloween, guys. That's if you celebrate, of course. If you don't celebrate, happy Thursday. Oh. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and the half double. We have the navy blue. Now, do you see what I mean about them varying? There's loads of the blue left, but yet there's hardly any of the pink left. This is why I was playing Yarn Chicken. This is why I switched it up, guys. But like I said, I will cut off and weave in the ends after I get off of here, and I will pop the borders on. I will show you these next week, all bordered and done and finished off. Of course, there will be another episode of Max's Gut Choice next week, because we still have a fair few in there waiting to be turned into squares. So this will be continuing for a little while longer, which is awesome. I am enjoying this. And one final look at the finished item that some of the squares have been used for. So pleased with it. So thank you so much for spending your time with me today. Slightly shorter episode because there was only 2. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. But until then, stay safe, be kind, look after one another, get some good quality time in with your loved ones, and get some good quality crafting time in. I will see you in the next one, or around the YouTube streets. And I'm stalling because something has just crossed my mind that I needed to do. No, I don't think it is for this video. That's fine. That's fine. We're going to leave it there. I've done my outro. Sorry to ruin the end of it, but I wanted to make sure that I wasn't forgetting anything. So thanks again, guys. Love you. Bye.